YouTube, so I have finally unlocked the Interstellar Camo in Modern Warfare 3. It took me about 7 to 8 days, which I think equated to roughly 2 days, 12 hours game time. And I know a lot of people are trying to unlock the Interstellar Camo right now, so I'm going to make this camo guide video, which is going to give you tips, walkthroughs, how to get around some of the bugs, and some advice for some of the harder challenges in the game, because there is some very difficult ones. I didn't really do this in the most efficient way possible. I think I definitely wasted some time. How have you not realized? So hopefully this video will help you out to make sure that you don't do the same thing I did. But anyway, let's get into it. So I want to start with what game modes to play and why. So first things first, obviously you're going to need to level up all your guns, and in order to level up guns, I would recommend playing either war mode or kill confirmed. Of course, your skill level does matter. I recommend if you're a decent player, I would say play war mode. It's very easy to get a high amount of kills in war mode. You can get 100 plus near enough every single game if you're there from start to finish. I think it takes roughly around 250 kills with each weapon in order to get at max level. Give or take some, you know, depending on how many levels it is. Plus, there's no SBMM in war as well, so I definitely think that is a good game mode to play. Alternatively, for those weapons where, you know, you don't really get very many kills, I would suggest playing kill confirmed. Kill confirmed is obviously an objective mode. You get quite a lot of XP for picking up the tags, so it doesn't really matter if you don't get that many kills. Then for some weapons, I would recommend playing hardcore mode. I will get into that later on. So first things first, I want to talk about some of the bugged camos. There's quite a few bugs in the game. If you are doing the Interstellar grind, I'm sure you're probably going to bump into some of these, but you know, first one I want to talk about is the double kills and multi-kill challenges. I've only just found this out in the past couple of days, but certain weapons that have challenges to get double kills and multi-kills are actually working in private match. So one example I have is for the RGL. Now for the prices camo, you need to get 25 double kills. You can actually do the entirety of this challenge in private match. If it's just a double kill or multi-kill challenge, you can do it in private match. You know, this probably will end up getting patched very soon, so I don't expect this to be around for a while, but if you are quick to see in this video, all these double kill and multi-kill challenges do track. Also, these 3 kills with 1 magazine challenge or 5 kills with 1 magazine are also bugged, and there's a reason why. Every time you get 3 kills, you need to reload. If you get 6 kills with 1 magazine, it's only going to track once. So after you get them 3 kills, you need to make sure that you reload, otherwise these challenges won't track. This definitely slowed me down quite a bit when I was doing the grind. One other challenge that I've noticed is bugged is with the gutter knife. Now this is to get 5 kills without dying 5 times with a gutter knife. Now I don't think this is tracking properly at all. I do believe this is actually just 3 kill streaks. It's quite difficult to say because, you know, I think I got like 3 5 kill streaks and then the challenge just unlocked. And I also did them in a very short space of time. So I think this is literally just 3 kill streaks, or perhaps it's just 25 kills. I have seen people say it is literally just 25 kills and the challenge will unlock. So don't really be put off by that one. So now I want to get into the hardest challenges, and I want to give you some tips on how to make it easier. So the first tip I would like to give is to start with the grenade launcher. The forge camo for the RGL 80 is to destroy 25 enemy equipment. Now, in case you don't know this already, this challenge is a little bit bugged and it only works with claymores and proxy mines. If it's not a claymore or proxy mine, this challenge will not track. So I would definitely recommend equipping this one first, getting it gold straight away. This should be the first gun that you level up, and just keep this on your secondary the entire time. Make sure you run the engineer vest so you can actually see the equipment through the walls, and then just try to destroy as many claymores as you can while you're working on the other guns. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, me and a lot of other people have pretty much boosted this entire challenge by going into game chat and just asking the enemy team to run claymores. Not many people run claymores in this game. Claymores are kind of becoming a thing of the past, to be honest with you, and not many people run them. So what I did personally, like I said, I was very late to starting this challenge. I did not do this first like I should have. So I kind of had to, you know, go into game chat and I just had to ask the enemy team to run claymores. That is basically how I got this challenge done, and that's how a lot of people have got this challenge done. If you're not against doing that, honestly, I would just recommend doing that. That is pretty much going to be the easiest way, and even then it's still going to be difficult. Alternatively, if you start with this first, by the time you finish the rest of the guns and, you know, come towards the end of the camo grind, you should have this one done, as long as you start with it first. Now, one of the other hardest challenges in the game is with the KATT AMR. Now, if you take a look at this forge camo challenge, it's to get 15 penetration kills with KATT AMR. This is a very, very difficult challenge because this gun is really not very good. Don't get me wrong, it's exceptionally powerful, but in order to hit wallbang kills, it's very difficult. But I do have some advice to make this quicker. I literally did this in like 20 minutes or something, and I've got some tips that's going to help you to be able to do the same thing. So as of right now, we actually have terminal 24/7 for another couple of days. If you are watching this by the time, you know, this game mode's still here, definitely play that, because all of these windows and stuff around the map are actually going to count as wall bangs, especially in that plane. There's a ton of windows. There's a ton of windows just around the entire map, and every single one of the windows does count as a wall bang. Now, of course, people start the camo grind at very different times. So if this game mode is not available, what I would recommend doing is just pretty much lobby surfing and trying to find either terminal, high rise, or scrapyard. So pretty much everyone who is trying to do the bullet penetration kills, I think would probably have more success doing this on scrapyard. I know a lot of people have already unlocked the camo, including myself, that was using this as a wallbang spot. You can of course do this on both sides. You can jump on the dumpster and look around here like that. It's kind of the same with high rise as well, because high rise has a lot of these fences. Terminal is really good because it's got the windows, but scrapyard and high rise are really good because of these fences. This is pretty much what you want to focus if you're trying to do this challenge. And just while we're on the topic, I do also want to talk about the LMG wall bangs as well. Now, the good thing about the LMG challenge is you do unlock this really early. Like, this is the second camo challenge you unlock, and you only need 10. You should probably have 10 by the time, you know, you get the weapon to max level. But if you are struggling to get it done, definitely come onto scrapyard, terminal, or high rise and just kind of look for spots like this. So then another one of the hardest challenges is probably the Sidewinder, which is just the gun as a whole, because this gun is hot garbage. I don't even know how this gun made it into live service. I think this probably is the worst gun I've ever used in COD history. I wish everyone good luck when you come to use this weapon, because wow, it is so bad. If you take a look at the stats on this gun, the bullet velocity is only 540 meters a second, which is so unbelievably bad for an AR. I didn't actually do this at the time, but you definitely should go into hardcore mode for this gun, because the bullet velocity is also just so bad that, like, I swear your bullets just go backwards. Once you get it leveled and like you get some bullet velocity attachments, that's pretty much what you want to focus on, by the way. You just want pure bullet velocity. Once you do get the bullet velocity attachments, it's not that bad. Like, it's still pretty bad because of, you know, the recoil and stuff, but if you're playing hardcore and you get some bullet velocity on, you can get this thing up to a fairly normal level of bullet velocity. Next difficult challenge is the entire AMR9. This is another gun that is just pretty bad. Like, if we take a look at the stats on this weapon, it's pretty bad. The sprint to fire time is so high, it's like, it's kind of worse than an AR, but it's nowhere near as strong as an AR, but it moves like one. So like, this is another really difficult one. And then when you get to the camo challenges, you'll see that you've got to do, I mean, this is all the way at priceless, but you've got to get 10 kills while you're out of the enemy's line of sight. This sounds like a really easy challenge, but this literally took me like 25 minutes in war mode, and I really don't know why. I think it just wasn't tracking properly, because there was so many times when I was killing enemies when I was out of their sight and it just didn't count. I think if you're literally not shooting them directly in the back, it doesn't count. If you're shooting them in the side or anything, imagine they've got like 250 field of view. I think that's the only way this challenge works. But yeah, this gun is quite tough. Once you get attachments and you can sort out the sprint to fire time and stuff, it gets a little bit better. But yeah, overall, especially the fact that this is 29 levels, this is quite a difficult gun. Okay, so another very difficult challenge that a lot of people seem to struggle with is to get 15 kills on operators affected by your tactical. This is a challenge on pretty much every single SMG and melee weapon, and it pretty much just means you've got to stun someone and then kill them, which, you know, in theory sounds really easy, but when you get to it in a game, it's actually very time consuming. I've done this challenge so many times now, and I've even made a couple of videos of it on TikTok, so I've had to basically redo the challenge because I lost the footage. So I've literally done this challenge on every SMG so many times now, so I've got some really good tips for you. For this challenge, I would recommend playing free-for-all, because if you think about it, free-for-all is a lot of 1v1s, and every time you spawn, you're only around, you know, 3 to 5 seconds away from finding someone. Chances are that person you find, it's going to end up being a 1v1, and, you know, not many sweats are playing free-for-all, so if you find someone in free-for-all, chances are they're probably not very good at the game. You can easily just stun them and then kill them, and what I'd recommend doing is for your loadout, make sure you run the engineer vest, because it doesn't say this in the description, but if you see there, it actually gives you a second tactical. Then of course, a munitions box, that is like 3 stun grenades you're going to get every single life. I'd also run covert sneakers or maybe lightweight boots, and the bone conduction headset, because the bone conduction headset is just going to help you figure out where people are nice and easy. So just the last couple ones for the hardest challenges and some tips. If you go to the LMGs, I'm sure quite a lot of people are struggling with this one as well. It's for the gold camo on LMGs, and you got 2 kills without releasing the trigger. Now, what this means is, I'm just going to show you this quickly in the firing range. So as you get 1 kill, you just need to like keep shooting and then go for the second one. Then you can stop. That's pretty much all that means. You just need to like get the first kill and then don't stop shooting to get the second. A lot of people do struggle with this one, but I don't know. These challenges kind of flew up for me when I was playing war mode. It is also really good in hardcore as well if you get a good map, especially easier map like, you know, Terminal or Rust, especially Rust. Like if you get hardcore like domination on Rust, you'll literally do this in one game. I'd definitely recommend that. I'd also definitely put on a bigger magazine. I know you're probably thinking this gun has 100 bullets. If I need more than 100 bullets, then wow. But trust me, a 200 round belt is just going to make it so much easier. It means you can just shoot for so long that like you don't even need to worry about it. I think it definitely makes it easier. I mean, if you're playing hardcore, you probably won't need a 200 round belt, but I don't know. That's kind of up to you. I used it and I thought it was really good. Final weapon challenge I want to mention is this one right here. It is on a few different guns, but it's just to get 10 kills while using a magnification scope. All this means is literally just any optic. It does not have to be, you know, like a 6, 7, 8x optic. It's just literally any optic. I got pretty much every single one of these challenges while using a red dot sight, and I would recommend you do the same. Okay, so as I mentioned at the start, I would definitely recommend going in backwards order. I would start with the RGL 80 and just pretty much keep using this until you get that Claymore challenge done. That's when you can take it off. And then as soon as you get that done, you want to work on all the melee weapons. I would 100% start with the worst ones first. Like this should probably be, you know, your starting loadout, the RGL 80 with one of the sniper rifles, especially because double XP is kind of limited. Like I ran out with double XP when I still had about 7, 8 weapons left. And unfortunately on day one, when I did my 24-hour stream just grinding out these camos, I worked through every single assault rifle and then SMGs. I started with all the best weapons first and I used all my double weapon XP on pretty much those weapons. And by the time I got to, you know, towards the end of the LMGs, some of the snipers, and even around the combat knife and RGL time, I just had no double weapon XP and I just slowed myself down so much. Because trust me, the ARs in this game and even the SMGs is so good. They're an absolute pleasure to use, especially guns like the DG58, MCW, and Holger. I mean, literally every single one of these ARs are all really good. So like by the time you're drained from the camo grind, you're going to get to these guns and you're going to have a fantastic time. Unfortunately, I did it the wrong way around, but make sure you don't make that same mistake. So as for how to do each weapon class, I've already spoke about the melee weapons and the launchers, but let's go on to the pistols right here. All of these pistols I'd recommend playing hardcore for, except maybe the TYR. The TYR is a one-shot in core as long as you hit them like, you know, upper chest or above. But all of these weapons, you know, except the TYR, are really good in hardcore. This Renetti is out of this world in hardcore. You'll have a great time leveling that one up. It's pretty much like this every single year, but yeah, the pistols are just the go-to weapons in hardcore and nothing's changed this year. Next up is sniper rifles. I would recommend playing war mode for the sniper rifles because there's so many lines of sight and spawn traps where you can literally get quad feed after quad feed after quad feed. I know this isn't FaZe Clan in 2013, but like, trust me, these snipers are actually so good in this mode for hitting clips like that. It actually makes the leveling process so simple. Like this KV inhibitor and longbow are really, really good in that mode. For the longbow, I was just running a red dot sight and yeah, the thing was insane. They also require quite a lot of levels as well. So like you will need quite a lot of kills with them. And there's no better place to do that than in the war mode. Next up, moving on to the Marksman Rifles. These are actually really, really good. I enjoyed doing this a lot. This KVD Enforcer was fantastic. This was really simple. I would just recommend playing, you know, either war mode or just kill confirmed and just grind these out nice and simple. Moving on to LMGs, I thought the LMGs were really bad in this game, to be honest. I'd for sure recommend playing war mode for them. Alternatively, if you are struggling in war mode, I just go in hardcore because these things don't have as good of a time to kill as you'd probably expect. So then moving on to shotguns. All three of these shotguns are actually pretty good, but once you get levels, my number one piece of advice for doing shotguns is definitely Tac Stance, because Tac Stance just seems like it was made for shotguns. It helps with pellet spread, but you also don't really sacrifice any movement either. Once you get some attachments on these shotguns, like for example the Bryson choke, a long barrel, maybe a sawed off stock, a laser, etc., shotguns actually become really good and they're quite fun to level. Definitely recommend playing war mode for them though, because some of the maps that you're playing regular 6v6 are just a little bit too long and the process will be a little bit too slow. So then moving on to SMGs. Now I've obviously already spoke about the AMR9, but the rest of the SMGs are all pretty solid. I think the Striker 9 is probably the worst one out the lot, but aside from that, like, these guns are really good, really fun to do, and I don't think you'll have any difficulties with them at all. So don't really think there's all too much to say about there. These should be a pretty simple grind. Battle rifles, of course, I've spoke about the Sidewinder. That gun is, you know, I'm not even going to get into how bad that gun is. I could go on forever. But the MTZ and Bads P are both pretty good guns, and I don't think you'll have any difficulties with them. And then, of course, that takes us on to ARs, which, like I've already said, all these ARs are just great. Every single one of them are good guns. And if you finish off with these, it'll make the camo grind so much more bearable. Like I said, unfortunately, I started with them, and I definitely wouldn't recommend doing that. So yeah, that is it for the Interstellar Camo grind. Of course, it is a bit of a grind, but for the most part, the challenges are much easier than they have been in previous years, and it's not too difficult. There's also not very many long shots. I know a lot of people were pretty sick of doing long shots last year for all the plat challenges, but this year there's not so many, and overall, it's just a much easier process. I hope these tips that I mentioned in this video help you out and make the process a lot simpler for you. If so, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, because I'm trying to grow the channel a lot this year, and I'm going to be making a lot of Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone 3 content that I think you're all going to really like. But yeah, without further ado, that is it for me, and that is it for this video, so I shall catch you in the next one.